Generally speaking, Australians are a very discerning bunch. It has become more and more evident that Australians dislike Elon Musk. And, surprising surprise, they also don't like Donald Trump. But recently, Australian politicians have started to speak out against him. Not the politicians you'd expect to, like Albanese or Peter Dutton, but some senators have decided that, or one senator in particular has decided that she should speak out, speak the truth, and say, I guess, what many of us Australians are also thinking, and what I've been saying in the past. And that is that we should make sure that any statements made about politics in the United States is about what is in Australia's best interest, not in what Trump is saying, the delusions that he's spreading, the lies that he is trying to propagate. So we need to make a stand, and thank God for Jackie Lambie, a senator in Australia, who has decided that she's going to say what's on her mind. Something Jackie quite often does, to the surprise, the chagrin of those people around her. But she has been able to say this in a most, I don't know, Jackie Lambie way. I think that's the only way that we could describe it. Independent Senator Jackie Lambie this week channeled the Australian zeitgeist and turned the volume up to 11 to speak some home truths about Donald Trump. And she's saying, I think, what most of us are actually saying. Like all good populists, her words hit a nerve in a way that only recent voter data can really explain. Speaking with me in the eve of Anthony Albanese's much anticipated phone call with Trump, where the PM was putting the case for the exemptions of fresh tariffs. In vintage Lambie style, she warned him not to suck up. America needs Australia. I don't know necessarily this is the truth, but nevertheless, it's a sentiment that I kind of, I'm, I'm prepared to understand. I'm prepared to try and consider. America needs Australia more than we need them, and they need our critical minerals, which is true. So if Trump wants to play with Australia, I suggest you start getting your cowboy hats on. Very, very, very Jackie Lambie, I think. Don't play bloody Trump's bluff. Don't play it. You don't move, Albo. Don't move on him. Don't you dare. Don't suck up. And this is Jackie telling him that telling Albo what he needs to do. Um, in the last two sitting week of Parliament, Trump inserted himself into our domestic politics every single day. Now, one of the issues for me has been that many people in the comments section on both Facebook and here have been suggesting that Australians should not get involved in American politics. Why does American politics affect us? Why do I talk about it a lot? And the reason for that is that it impacts us and that we need to be able to make statements that are expressing our views around the delusional, psychopathic influences that the Trump administration's policies have on the rest of the world. And we're discovering that they have a massive impact on how we will conduct business in this particular country and even how we will conduct our politics if we see populism as kind of the road to success, the road to be able to influence the population so that they will vote for us. And so this stuff then becomes increasingly important. Um, while surely it would have been fun in a parallel universe for the PM to take Lambie's advice on the cusp of an election, doing anything that could jeopardise the trade exemption was never an option for an Australian Prime Minister. The PM pulled off the first step in what will be a complicated and tiresome dance. He came out of the conversation with Trump unscathed and with hope of a deal to exempt our steel and aluminium. There was no evidence of overt sucking up, and perhaps a good thing if you look at the latest Australian polling numbers on Trump. And here it goes on saying, in fact, the most consistent theme in all the data with regard to his polling numbers, younger men like Trump and are more sympathetic to his strongman expansionist tendencies. And I think we need to note that because that's going to impact the attitudes of particularly the right wing and the Liberal Party and National Party here in Australia. About half of Australians disapprove of Trump's performance, including 34% who strongly disapprove. This reinforces polling undertaken in the lead up to the US election that Trump's brand of conservative populism isn't easily replaceable here because Trump is viewed mostly negative by Australians. And there's just one other so there's this other part of this poll that I thought was interesting, which is what do Australians think of these billionaires? So they've got Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk. And the interesting part was this pit down the end, which is the very unfavourable. So Bill Gates is a very small, very unfavourable, and a very high, very favourable, somewhat favourable. So this area in here. And this one here, though, is fascinating because Bill Gates has got a very unfavourable of 13%. Elon Musk down here has a very unfavourable of 40%. So we don't like Elon Musk. It's as simple as that. And which is probably it probably has a bit to say about our attitude in terms of the tall poppy syndrome. So we in Australia don't like people who make a big deal of themselves. We don't like the wealthy. We don't celebrate the wealthy in the same way as they do in the United States. And we certainly believe to some extent that if you are wealthy, then you need to be kind of the man's man. You need to be a person of the people, I guess. And if you're wealthy in this country and you try to exert your authority, such as people like Clive Palmer, then you're not going to do very well. Clive Palmer, for example, spent $100,000 million rather on an election at the last election and didn't even win a seat. So we don't hold these people in high esteem. So the bottom line is, because we don't hold them in high esteem, that they will not have the same influence that they do in the United States. Because for some reason, you people in the United States seem to think that if someone has money, then they need to be elevated to a position of power and authority, as you have done with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And hopefully that will not be the case here in Australia. So let me know what you think about that. If you're an Australian in particular, let me know what you think, because it is important for us to understand that we don't want to be like America. We want to be different to the United States, and we are, and at some point we need to make a stand against them. In the meantime, let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. It doesn't cost you anything, and I would certainly love to hear from you in the comment section below. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.